No one ever tells you the truth about getting old. Not really. Sure, people talk about gray hair, aching knees, and forgetting why you walked into a room. But they don't tell you about the parts that truly shake you. The moments that catch you off guard. The feelings that make you whisper to yourself, "I never thought this would happen." Growing old isn't just about getting slower. It's about discovering a world you didn't know existed. One where your body, your relationships, and even your sense of self start shifting in ways no one prepared you for, whether you're already there or just starting to notice the signs. You're not alone in feeling shocked by what aging actually brings. So today, we're going to gently name the things that surprise most of us and why they matter more than we think. Let's get honest and let's get started. Most people grow up with a vague idea of what aging looks like: a few wrinkles, maybe a slower step, more time to relax. But the reality is far more personal, more emotional, and often more surprising than anyone expects. The truth is, aging doesn't just happen on your birthday. It creeps in quietly. It shows up in how people treat you, in how your body reacts to simple tasks, in how your world begins to shrink without warning. And no one really prepares you for that. Doctors talk about physical health. Family talks about retirement plans. But almost no one talks about the emotional weight, the shifts in identity, the strange mix of freedom and fear that often comes after 70, especially after 80. That's why so many older adults feel caught off guard. It's not just about getting older. It's about discovering what no one ever warned you about. This video is here to gently uncover those truths. Not to scare you, but to remind you, if you're feeling shocked by aging, you're not the only one. Let's start with something that catches almost everyone by surprise. Even those who've done everything right, your body begins to feel unfamiliar. You've been eating well. You go for walks. You take your medications. Keep your checkups. Follow the advice. You've taken care of yourself as best as anyone could. But one day, you wake up and something just feels off. Your legs don't feel steady. Your shoulders ache more than usual. The stairs look steeper. Even tying your shoes feels like a little project. It's not pain exactly. It's the unsettling feeling that your body isn't quite yours anymore. This shift often comes without warning. One week, you feel strong. The next, everything takes more effort. And no one tells you this can happen, even if you've lived healthily and done all the right things. That's what makes it so shocking. It's not a single injury or illness. It's the slow fading of familiarity. You begin to second-guess your steps. You pause longer before standing up. You find yourself avoiding little things not because you're afraid, but because something deep inside says, "Be careful now." And it's hard not to feel betrayed. You've been kind to your body, and now it's asking you to slow down whether you like it or not. But here's something gentle to remember. Your body isn't giving up on you. It's adapting after decades of movement, effort, and stress. It's simply asking for more patience and a different kind of care. So instead of pushing through, maybe today is the day to listen. Stretch slowly, move gently, breathe deeply. Treat your body like an old friend who's grown quieter but is still by your side. You haven't lost yourself. You're just learning a new way to live inside this body. One breath, one step, one kind moment at a time. No one tells you how quiet things become, not just in your home, but in your heart. As you grow older, something unexpected happens. Friendships, the ones that once felt like anchors, begin to drift away. Not out of anger, not because of any big falling out, but slowly, gently, like leaves carried off by the wind. Some friends move away, others stop calling. Some fall ill, some pass on, and before you realize it, the phone rings less. The calendar is more empty. Holidays feel quieter. You look around and think, where did everyone go? The hardest part is that you don't always notice it right away. Life keeps you busy with errands, family, routines. But one day, it hits you. The people who once filled your days are no longer there. In the same way, it's not your fault. It's not theirs either. It's just how life unfolds when years start piling up. Friendship in old age takes more effort and more grief. You have to mourn those who are gone, while still trying to open your heart to those who remain. And that's not easy when energy is lower and trust is harder to rebuild. But here's the gentle truth. Even if your circle gets smaller, it can still be meaningful. A single good conversation, a neighbor's kind smile, a memory that makes you laugh out loud in the kitchen. These little things still matter, and they still connect you to life. So if friendships have faded, you're not alone in that ache. It happens to almost all of us. What matters now is keeping your heart open not to the crowd, but to the quiet beauty of the few who stay. There comes a moment, maybe at the grocery store, or the doctor's office, or even just crossing the street, when you realize something strange. People stop seeing you. You hold the door open, but no one says thank you. You speak up at a counter, but the clerk looks past you. You walk slowly, and others rush around like you're not even there. It doesn't happen all at once. At first, it feels like a one-time thing, but then it keeps happening quietly, repeatedly. This invisibility isn't just about being ignored. It's about how the world treats aging, like it's something to look past rather than something to respect. You've lived decades. You've raised families, built careers, overcome loss, adapted to change, and yet somehow, a younger person with a smartphone gets more attention than your life story ever will. It can make you question your worth, even when you know deep down how much you've lived and given. But here's something no one can take from you. Your presence still matters. Whether others notice or not, you notice. You carry stories, wisdom, and a quiet strength that doesn't need validation to be real. So walk with your head high. Speak with steady voice. And if the world forgets to see you, remind it gently that you're still here. You are not invisible. You are simply surrounded by people who have forgotten how to truly look. It sneaks up on you. You're just doing what you've always done. Folding laundry, watering the plants, walking to the mailbox, and suddenly your body whispers, "That's enough for today." At first, it's confusing. How can something so simple make you so tired? You might start taking afternoon naps when you never used to. You sit down more often. You wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. It doesn't feel like laziness. It feels like your body is running on a different clock. Now, one that ticks slower, one that asks for more quiet in between the noise. The surprising part, how emotional that fatigue can feel. You may feel frustrated. Evan Oshamed, you used to be so active up before dawn, always moving, always helping, and now a trip to the grocery store can leave you needing a full day to recover. But here's the truth. Rest is not a weakness. It's not giving up. It's your body's way of saying, "I've done so much for you, now I need you to listen." Rest is repair. Rest is wisdom. Rest is what allows you to continue, not what stops you. So let yourself pause. Lay down without guilt. Sit quietly without explanation. You're not falling behind, you're moving in rhythm, with a life that has earned the right to slow down. No one ever tells you that grief doesn't just come once. It comes again, and again, and again. When you're younger, loss feels rare, a terrible exception. But as you age, grief becomes a quiet companion. Friends pass, siblings pass, sometimes even a spouse or a child. And every loss leaves a different kind of silence behind. At first, you try to stay strong. You attend the funeral. You send the card. You say, they lived a good life, and you mean it. But deep down, something shifts. The world feels less full. The laughter, fewer. The phone calls, shorter. And just when you start to adjust, another name appears in the obituary section. Another photo in a frame. Another empty seat at the table. It's not just the people you miss, it's the shared history. The inside jokes, the knowing glances, the remember when stories that no one else quite understands. Grief in old age doesn't always come with tears. Sometimes it shows up as quiet, as forgetfulness, as that long pause before you answer because you're remembering someone who used to be there. But here's the truth. Feeling this loss doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've loved deeply. You've built bonds strong enough to miss, and you're allowed to carry that love and that grief side by side. So take your time. Let the memories come. Let them hurt. Let them warm you. You're not alone in this. Grief may visit often now, but so does love. One day, you wake up and realize you just don't care about the same things anymore. The spotless house, the perfect outfit, what someone said 10 years ago, the need to be right in every argument, the pressure to please everyone, somehow all of it fades. And it's not because you've given up. It's because you've grown up in the deepest, truest sense. You begin to see how much energy you once poured into things that now feel so small. You remember the stress over appearances, opinions, and expectations, and now you'd rather have peace. You'd rather sit in a quiet room with a warm cup of tea than spend hours chasing perfection. You'd rather listen than debate. You'd rather feel calm than be impressive. It's surprising. This change, in your younger years, you were driven, perhaps even restless. But now, there's freedom in letting go. And maybe that's one of aging's hidden gifts. You begin to focus only on what truly matters and gently release the rest. Some people may not understand this shift. They might see it as slowing down or not caring. But you know better. You haven't stopped caring. You've just become wiser about where to place your care. And that wisdom, it's hard-earned and worth everything. When you were younger, happiness might have meant success, achievement, a full calendar, laughter in a noisy room, big goals, bigger dreams. But somewhere along the way, often quietly, without fanfare, that definition begins to change. Now, happiness might look like a peaceful morning, a chair that doesn't hurt your back, the sound of birds outside your window, a conversation that feels real, a grandchild's hug, a day without pain. And that shift can be surprising. You might catch yourself smiling at something so small it would have gone unnoticed years ago. You might find joy in simplicity, comfort in quiet, and meaning in moments you once rushed past. This new happiness isn't loud. It's not flashy, but it's deep. It comes from knowing what truly matters and what doesn't. You no longer chase happiness like it's something outside of you. Instead, you carry it with you. In your breath, in your presence, in your ability to pause and simply be. Some may see this as settling, but really, it's arriving at a place of enough. And maybe that's the wisdom of age, learning that joy isn't always in the doing, but in the being. You try. You really do. You learned how to text. You figured out email. You even braved video calls during the pandemic. But somehow, no matter how much you learn, it feels like the world keeps moving faster without you. Every app has an update. Every machine has a new button. self-checkout lines, QR codes, passwords for everything. And suddenly, things that used to be simple, paying a bill, booking an appointment, reading the news now require 5 steps. And a teenager's help, you're not alone in feeling lost. The truth is, technology wasn't designed with older adults in mind. It moves fast, assumes a level of familiarity, and often forgets the value of patience. It's easy to feel left out, like the world is speaking a language you no longer understand. And sometimes, that leads to frustration or even shame. But here's what you need to remember. You are not the problem. The pace is, being confused by new tech doesn't mean you're behind it. It means you're trying to live in a world that no longer waits. So give yourself grace, ask questions, write things down. Say, I don't know without apology. The courage to keep learning at any age is far more impressive than pretending to know it all. You may not keep up with every trend, but you've kept up with life. And that's what truly matters. You bend down to tie your shoe, and someone rushes over to help. You're reaching for a bag of flour, and a stranger says, "Careful now." You mention your age and suddenly people talk slower, louder, and treat you like you might break. It's one of the quieter shocks of aging. People stop seeing your strength. They mean well. Of course, their help comes from a good place. But over time, the constant, "Are you okay?" and "Let me do," that can start to wear on you. Because deep down, something they've forgotten, you're not fragile. You're seasoned. You've survived decades of stress, heartbreak, change, and uncertainty. You've worked hard, carried burdens, raised families, held people through grief. You've built resilience not from softness, but from living through life's storms and still standing tall. So when someone treats you like glass, it can feel insulting. Not because help is bad, but because they don't see the full story of who you are. And yes, there are things you do need help with. That's part of being human, not weakness. But being older doesn't automatically mean you're breakable. So the next time someone underestimates you, smile gently and surprise them. Let them see that while your bones may ache, your spirit is unshakable. This might be the biggest surprise of all. People see your gray hair, your wrinkles, the way you move a little slower, and they assume they know who you are. Quiet, fragile, old, but inside, you still feel younger. You still laugh at silly jokes. You still daydream. You still feel wonder, curiosity, even mischief. Sometimes you pass a mirror and wonder, who is that? Because the face doesn't always match the energy inside. That youthful spark doesn't go away. It just gets quieter, more tucked away behind experience, behind responsibility, behind what life asked of you. But it's there. It's always been there. And when you hear a favorite song, or smell fresh bread, or feel the sun on your face, suddenly it rises again. That version of you who danced, who dreamed, who laughed so hard, they cried. That person still lives within you. Aging doesn't erase who you were. It layers you with wisdom, softness, and depth. So if people look at you and see only your age, let them, because you know the truth inside you lives a younger soul, one who's very much alive. If any of these truths made your heart ache, even just a little, please know this: you are not alone. Aging brings so many changes, and most of them aren't talked about openly. We hear about golden years and staying active, but not enough about the quiet struggles, the shrinking friendships, the shifting energy, the ache of being misunderstood. It's easy to feel like something's wrong with you, like you're the only one moving slower while the world rushes ahead. But nothing is wrong with you. You are simply living through a season that asks for more gentleness with your body, your memories, and your heart. There's no shame in needing more rest. No failure in letting go of things that used to matter. No weakness in feeling grief again and again. These are not signs of decline, they are signs of depth. You have lived and loved and learned through decades, and what you're feeling now, it's not the end. It's the next chapter one that holds quiet beauty, unexpected joy, and a strength that doesn't shout but remains. So breathe, be kind to yourself. You're doing just fine. Aging isn't just about wrinkles or slower steps. It's a profound shift in how you experience the world and how the world responds to you. It brings both quiet losses and quiet wisdom. It challenges your body, but deepens your heart. It strips away the noise and reveals what truly matters. Yes, it's hard sometimes. Yes, it can be lonely, but it's also full of moments that are softer, clearer, and more meaningful than before. You are not less than because you've grown older. You are more seasoned, more reflective, more present. If the world forgets to honor that, remind it. If you forget to honor yourself, begin again today. Aging isn't the end of your story. It's a Quieter, Wiser Chapter 1 worth reading. Slowly. If this video spoke to something you felt but couldn't quite explain, you're not alone and you're not invisible here. This space is for you. For your memories, your questions, your quiet courage. We'd love to hear from you. What surprised you most about growing older? What part of aging has taught you something beautiful? Feel free to share your story in the comments. Whether it's one sentence or a whole chapter, your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you found comfort in this video, consider subscribing. Not for trends or noise, but for calm, thoughtful reflections on the life you've earned, one moment at a time. Together,